Okay. Good evening, everyone. Again, hi. Nice to see you. There's a lot of glare on my glasses today for some reason. Let me try to push that back. I think it's so bright. My name is Ben Reisinger. I'm the professor of DMM 110, Introduction to Digital Media and Applications, and the Digital Media Management degree at the University of Indianapolis in the School of Adult Learning. This is our fourth week of 5 weeks, and we're really getting down into we've taken it step by step every week, and here in our fourth week, we are talking about PR communication, how that really works into the digital media realm, and also talking about how you have to analyze it. You just can't do social media and not look and say, okay, is this working? Is this not working? What's going on? So, Janet, the first thing I want to do, just how I've done every class, as of this week, I had you guys finish the book. So I'm just going to go through and highlight a couple of the pages and some key points and highlights if you have or have not read the book yet. But the first one I want to do is talk about page 222. And 222 talks about developing a social media strategy. And the book gives it okay justice, but like we've talked about in this class before, you really need to develop a communications plan. Doing social media, doing new media, doing web videos, tweeting, Facebooking, using LinkedIn, all of this stuff needs to have some type of a focus. And again, things happen and things change, and we've talked about that. And that is just part of the game. When you're doing digital media marketing, a lot of times I've told you before, I have a plan, derived out for about 3 months to 6 months at Mary Free Bed, just about digital, what's really going on, stuff like that. But then also, I leave it open every week on Monday mornings. I have a content meeting with my with my team at Mary Free Bed, and during that meeting we talk about the content for the week, and if I need to tweak something, if I need to redevelop something, and having fun like that. So there's page 222, and I've lost Janet, so I don't know where she is, so we'll just go cheers. All right, there we go. Okay. I hope Janet comes back here soon, because I'm talking to myself right now. I don't see any viewers on, but that is a little bit of a goob. So we might give it a couple minutes here. I do love social media. I don't want to continue on without her here in the class. Hopefully she comes back soon. So yes, social media is awesome. I've really been having a lot of fun with Hyperlapse, that app here lately. I think that's really, really cool. And we are going to talk some apps here because we didn't get the chance to talk apps last week. So we'll see if Janet comes back in here soon. Mobile and desktop apps. Just putting that on my notes that I keep here for every class. Even though they're on last week's, I just wanted to say that I continued the conversation this week. So there we go. I don't see Janet yet. Hopefully she comes back soon. We shall see what happens. I have to send Janet a text to make sure she's okay and everything is good. Now we are live. We are pushing this. I am recording this, and so if you watch this, it'll probably be like, "Oh, what's going on?" So I don't know. Says we have one viewer now. Janet, if that is you and you're the viewer, if you could enter back into the chat room, let me tweet you the link again. I think that might be you, but that might be Bob Birchfield because I sent it to Bob. But if that is you, how you doing, Bob? Let me tweet this to Janet here. Oh, we lost our viewer, so I don't know if that is. I don't know who that was. Let me. Here is the G Plus Hangout link. Ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. Janet, DMN 110. Okay. Hopefully Janet gets that. We can get back into teaching our class here for digital communications, which I do love. You know, I tell people all the time, I really wasn't going to be a digital guy. I'm an old school traditionalist type of PR guy, and I mean, it just kind of happened. It's been a lot of fun. I do enjoy the social networking part of it. I do enjoy coming up with strategy and analyzation, you know, adding up all the numbers. It's too bad as of right now in September of 2014 that there is not a way for like everything to be analyzed all in one. So, you know, I find myself using Sprout Social. I find myself using Facebook. I find myself a lot of times just going straight into the actual desktop versions of the publications themselves and doing that. Hey, Janet, you're back.
Hey, I don't know what's happening.
Well, hey, whoever's behind Janet, I'll wave to you. Nice to see you.
That's my husband.
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
We're good at yourself.
It's a beautiful night. It's a good night to talk social media. All right, I'm glad you're back, Janet. That's awesome. I was just kind of talking to the camera for a while because I didn't want to stop the hangout.
Okay.
All right, so we were talking page 222. And again, I was talking about the yes, 222. Okay, I had to get my train of focus back here again. My apologies. And having a strategy, having a plan for social media, and again, you have to be able to be flexible. You know, things change. Something might come up. Somebody might make a comment. Something might happen, you know, in the world or regionally that, you know, you want to talk about or open conversation with. So yes, I mean, I do agree with some of the stuff that the book says about strategy, but really I try to blend my strategy along kind of like a public relations strategy a little bit. Okay, next page I wanted to highlight was page 247, talking about more effective online videos. He talks about shoot for the smaller screen, look professional, consider creating a slideshow, shoot in high def, you know. That stuff's great, but really when it comes down to web video, it's all about your content. Again, we've talked about that a lot. Having the good content, having what is relevant content for what your business, you know, might be, or your nonprofit, something like that. You know, once you have that relevant content, it is just absolutely awesome, and people will get into it. Now, one thing he does talk about are podcasts, and we haven't really talked about podcasts here in the class yet. Podcasts are great. I used to do a little bit of a podcast with my former partner. Would do it, Indy Tolan, and you know, it was fun. Podcasts are audio only, and they really do. I mean, they have a place, but you know, it's the dissemination of them, getting them out. You know, anybody can do a podcast. You can go out and you can buy a $20 little audio recorder at Walmart or Meijer. You can audio record yourself doing whatever it is that you want to talk about, or music, or this or that. And then you can upload it to your website, which is easy. You can do podcasts through the Apple Store, you know, getting podcasts. But to do that, you have to go through a process, and you have to get verified by Apple that your content is good and so forth. So podcast is another easy way to get some type of digital media marketing out there. But again, you know, I didn't have you focus on that. You know, again, the final for this is a web video. So that was on page 246 to 247. All right, next page, as we're moving along, is page 263. And in this chapter, it was kind of talking about, you know, the benefits of online PR versus press release distribution, developing new online sources, targeting websites. Well, this is really where you have to look at using traditional methods of communications along with your digital methods of communications through social media. I'm a big fan, and I think everybody would agree with me that, you know, it really works best when you do a little bit of both. There's going to be a time and a day here in the next several years, probably more sooner than later, where the traditional stuff really might fall by the wayside. I mean, as every year goes by, more and more goes to actually being digital media. So check that out on page 263. Talking too much, excuse me. Okay, next page is 266. And the reason is targeting bloggers. You know, bloggers are amazing. If you're selling a product, if you have a nonprofit, you know, a cause, something like that, you can latch on to the correct bloggers or the right bloggers that are actually invested into whatever it is that you're promoting. They can help you by leaps and bounds, spread your message, spread your word, spread your new media love, help share your posts, and even write their own blogs. You know, you have to be wary sometimes of sharing content from other people. Make sure, you know, it's legit. Make sure it falls in with your own values and diversity, things like that. But having external bloggers definitely is a good help. Example of that would be there were food bloggers in Indianapolis, and I used to do public relations for the Front Page Sports Bar and Grill. And so I had these food bloggers come in and try some food, you know, try some drink, and then they wrote about it and they posted it on their site, and it was fantastic. You know, it got thousands of hits, they said. So having bloggers and targeting bloggers really is a cool thing. And it's almost like pitching a story, not like pitching a story, but it is like pitching a story where, you know, you could even reach out to them and say, hey, I have this new product, or I have this event coming up. Do you want to, you know, write a blog about it? Can you help out? I actually use guest bloggers at Mary Free Bed Rehabilitation Hospital, my day job here in Michigan. Oh, we lost Janet again. I hope she comes back. So it looks like she's having some connectivity issues. And guest blogs are great because it's not coming from you yourself. It's coming from someone else. And, you know, they're kind of writing on your topic or writing on your behalf. And that in viewers and readers, you know, minds is just even leaps and bounds ahead of if, let's say, I would write a blog myself about Mary Free Bed. You doing okay with your connection?
I don't know what's going on. It just keeps going in and out, in and out.
A little funky. Yeah, that happens sometimes to Google Plus Hangouts. So I was just saying, you know, bloggers, they're good. If you can get guest blogs, I use guest blogs at Mary Free Bed, you know, and go with them. The next one would be Chapter 17, page 275, B2B mobile marketing. I mean, mobile. Janet left again. So mobile is really where things are at now. You can't beat mobile. More and more people are on the iPhones, the Droids, the smartphones, the tablets, and that is your mobile marketing. And you really need to accomplish that and get that into your mix of strategic digital media marketing messages here today. We lost Janet. She keeps going in and out. I don't think anybody else is watching. I see 0 viewers, but hopefully Janet can come back here soon. I hope. I don't know what to do to waste the time here because I don't want to stop the broadcast and stop this recording. Wow, I wonder if I should tweet Janet. Interesting. Well, maybe we should tweet Janet, and we'll see what's going on. Hopefully it is not an issue with her connection at home. That would not be cool. But we will see. I'll just scroll through Facebook here real quick. Anything good going on? Yeah, okay. We're changing profile pictures, science. Do. Ba-do, boo, boo. Ba-do. 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 Let's see if Janet texted. Nope, no text from Janet. Wow. All right, all right, all right. As Mr. Matthew McConaughey would say in Dazed and Confused. Hopefully, we can come back here with our lone student with class. Woo! But we might have to stop broadcast and restart it because I had internet issues the first class, for sure. And hey, there's Janet again. All right.
We're going to try this in a different area.
Let's see. Is it just your
Okay.
connection? Looks like.
I don't know. Maybe the part of the house, but oh, are you serious? I just clicked out of
Well,
it.
I can hear you. I can't see you, but I hear you,
Okay,
which is good.
there we go. Okay.
There we go. All right, right on. I was just sitting there kind of hanging out, you know, doing it, having fun. All right, I'm glad you're back. Okay.
All right.
Mobile. We were talking mobile. I think you heard mobile. And mobile in the book gives a very brief overview of mobile marketing, and it says big and getting bigger. And, you know, that absolutely is true. That's a statement. It's getting crazy, crazy, crazy. And you have to have mobile, and your website has to be mobile responsive. And if not, you're really going to do yourself a disservice. All right, next one, and I wanted to bring some attention to that. Chapter 18, quantifying results. I had you read over this, and you can really skim over Chapter 18 if you haven't read it yet. I like what he says about it, but you know, they're really, and we've talked about this briefly before. It's very hard to analyze things right now, and we'll get into that a little bit more later. There's no real great tool to bring it all together. The best one for websites and web analytics, I mean, bar none, is Google Analytics, and you can attach Google Analytics to any website, including your own WordPress blog that you have right now for this class. You can attach Google Analytics to that. One of them that I like to use a lot, my two go-tos are Hootsuite and Sprout Social. So I think the two of those are absolutely awesome. And then again, I go into Pinterest and LinkedIn, and I have to just kind of manually add up some numbers, you know, and download numbers. And then, let's see here, what was the last one? Oh, and then as you get in here, page 308, let's talk about analyzing your reach. It is very interesting because I like his list that he has down on the bottom of that. That list is pretty good, you know, about what the types of things you want to analyze for websites, type of things you want to analyze for search engines, advertising, email, blogs, you know, social media, page views, unique visitors from specific social media, podcast downloads, videos, views. So that's a pretty good list, pretty comprehensive. So that's my quick run through of things that I liked, and hopefully you will be done with this book this week, and we can move on until the final week of the class. So I wanted to talk, we didn't get a chance to talk this last week, but I wanted to talk about apps a little bit. Apps are absolutely amazing. Apps are what people want now. And this is before we get into the PR communications and web analytics type of stuff. So, Janet, you have a smartphone, and on your smartphone, how many apps do you think you have on there? 20, 30, 10?
20.
About 20? And you use the apps that are on your phone, you use a lot, don't you?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. So, a lot of people...
Already, so some I use, but I just kind of put everything into folders, and then the ones I really use are out.
Sure. And aren't you using an app on your tablet right now to use this Google Plus Hangout? Right?
Yes.
Yeah, so go apps. You know, a lot of people say, oh, if you got a company, you have a business, you have to have an app. But I'll say this, you don't have to have an app. With my own day job, Mary Free Bed Rehab Hospital, you know, we've thrown around the idea of an app, but we're redoing our website right now. We're redeveloping our website to be mobile responsive, to work with mobile phones and to work with tablets. And so because I'm doing that, I don't think that there's a need for us to have an app. Now, for certain situations, an app is absolutely the best thing you can do. We see this with some bigger events. Last one I went to a music festival this summer called the Common Ground Music Festival in East Lansing, Michigan. And they created an app that you could see when different artists were coming, where first aid stations and food stations were. You could look at their Twitter feed, you could search the hashtags, things like that. Who else uses apps? All your sports organizations use apps. I mean, that way you can get on there. ESPN uses apps. CNN uses apps. Even though they have websites, they're big enough and they have enough information to disseminate where apps can work for them. We'll also talk about, social media apps here. I love Instagram. I really do love Instagram. Every week I'm taking more and more pictures and videos. I mean, it's just fun, and it seems like Instagram is connecting with a wider range audience, more diverse audience now. My favorite, social media app, I guess would say, just because I love that it has the functionality that it does, I love the Hootsuite app, because I have my Hootsuite on my desktop where I can go and have all my little searches, and I look at, your tweets and things like that, and I can search the hashtag DMM110. I can do the same exact thing straight from my phone. So that app to me is priceless. It's a free app, and it works in conjunction with your desktop, with your phone, and I even have it for my tablet too. So Hootsuite kind of goes with me wherever I go, and I can always use that as a tool. Facebook used to just have one app, and now Facebook has a lot of apps. Facebook has regular Facebook. Facebook has what they're making so many people download if you want to use messages. The Facebook Messenger app, it's a new one. Facebook is trying to get into kind of the news industry, and they created another app called Facebook Paper. And Paper lets me look at news events, things that are happening around the world, this and that, and it also gives me my Facebook news feed. It's kind of fun. You can reply back and do things on Facebook Paper. For the business side, I use Facebook Pages. Facebook Pages is an app. So if you ever have one of those like button pages that you have to create, I have one for the hospital where I work at. We have one for our sports program. My my show in Indianapolis, Do It Indy. They have 2 Facebook pages, stuff like that. So they use the apps. Let's see here with Facebook. What else with apps? Because I'm kind of just breezing through this. Oh, yes. And then Foursquare. Foursquare split. And part of the class is, I wanted you guys to kind of check out Foursquare, check out Foursquare, and Foursquare split into Foursquare and Swarm. And the apps work in conjunction with each other now. So that's kind of an interesting thing. I love the WordPress app because, again, you can update your website. You can do a lot of things. It doesn't have as many functions and the functionality as the desktop version, but the WordPress app is awesome. I do love that. So, in looking at apps, should you have an app for your organization, for your business, for your event that's coming up? You really have to look at it at a case-by-case basis. There are a lot of ways to make apps now. You can go to websites and they can, they have templates set up. You can have a developer develop an app for you, one that would fit the iPhone, that would fit the new iPhones, that would fit the Droids, that would fit the tablets, the different sizes of things like that. I have used the template-based one before, and I was using that for a commercial business in Indianapolis. And after about 3 or 4 months, it really wasn't getting any traction. I could have given it longer, but I really didn't like the look of it. I spent about $250 to build out the app, and to just use their prefab templates. It let me change the colors, and it let me put my social handles on it. It let me put the events of the restaurant on it. But again, I didn't see the traction. I don't think that people really appreciated the app either because they could kind of tell it's canned. And everything that I had on the app for the restaurant, we had just created a new WordPress site that was mobile responsive. So instead of having an app, I would rather have the website traffic, and we just started to direct people to the website all the time instead of hey, come in here and download the app. So, do you have any favorite apps, Janet? You know, apps that you use a lot?
Pandora, I use a lot. My Map My Walk, I've been using almost every day.
Cool. Okay.
It lets me know, like it maps out where I've walked, how many miles, that kind of thing.
Yep, I have that on my phone as well. Good app.
Yeah.
And you know, you can change that if you're walking or jogging or running or riding a bike. It's just with a click of a button and it'll still keep that stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I use, my bank, Hire One. I use that on there.
Oh, cool. Yeah. It seems like all banks have an app now, and you know that's an easy way to look at your money, to be able to. I use Chase Bank, and I love the click feature. Does your bank have the click feature where you can pause it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, especially because my bank is out of state, so it's great because mine is through the school, and
Cool.
so I can do it that way and make a deposit because there's no other way to do it except direct deposit.
Yeah, you can't go to a location. I get that. I get that. So you know, apps. I mean, and you've been to, you know, you have an iPhone, so you've been to the App Store on Apple, and I know you have your Samsung tablet, so you've been to the Droid Store. You know what they call it, the Droid Store, or something like that?
It's called the Play Store.
Or the Play Store, yeah. And again, apps are, you know, they're kind of the same. They fit the different types of operating systems, the OS systems that they have. And I don't know if you noticed, Janet, but so with your iPhone, you can update now to the new iOS too, iOS 8, because this Friday the new iPhone comes out, the 6. So they're letting people actually update now to the new operating system with their phones. What version of iPhone do you have?
A 5C.
A 5C? Then you absolutely can. If you go into General and then you go into Update, you can actually update your 5C right now to iOS 8. And it gives you a few more features. It has built-in the health app thing that works with the, like Map My Walk and Map My Ride stuff. And you actually, I guess from what they're saying, once you put it in there and once you get it, this actually works kind of like a Fitbit. And it'll knows the stairs that you've walked. It knows the amount of steps you've walked per day just from your phone because it has a little bit of a gyroscope in it. So it'll be interesting to see how that truly works and if it's good technology. So, all right, it is 6:30. So there are apps. So what do you think? I mean, do you have any questions about apps, Janet? I mean, you know they're out there. You know they're very important now. I mean, it seems like, you know, everybody, you either need to have a mobile responsive website or an app.
Yeah,
You know,
I just pulled it up. It does say ready to download.
Did you say something?
It is ready to download.
Oh, I think you accidentally muted your. I can't hear you now, Janet.
You can't hear me?
Did you hit mute by accident on your tablet?
No.
Boop, boop, boop.
No? You can't
No.
hear me?
Oh, this is too bad. We're having so many issues tonight. I still can't hear you. I don't know if you're talking.
Is that better? Can you hear me?
Can't hear you. I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes?
Yeah? Okay. At least you can hear me.
No, it's...
Well, this is a goober. I don't know if it's I think your connection's a little wonky or something like that. Can you leave the chat room and come back in and see if that might take care of the problem? And I'll sit here and hang out. You didn't by chance hit mute?
Yeah.
Well, now you look frozen. And there you went. All right. We'll see if Janet comes back, everybody. Okay, you're back. Say something for me, please.
Right now.
Ah, I still can't hear you. I don't know what's going on. maybe check your volume button. Make sure your volume buttons are turned up, and make sure that you at the top of your screen you haven't hit the little mute microphone at the top of your screen.
It's all good.
But usually I would see an icon. I don't see an icon on your.
Yeah, it's all good.
I can't hear you still.
Can't hear
No.
nothing. What in the
Well,
world?
goodness, don't you love technology?
Yeah, it's great.
Well, shoot.
What's happening?
Well, I'll tell you what, Janet. Come back so I can see you. I can't see you now. I just see your profile picture, and I will have I'll have my Hootsuite open to DMM110, and send me a tweet using the hashtag if you have any questions. But I'll just move along here. Does that sound okay?
Okay. Can you hear me now?
I still can. No hearing. But so, wow, that's a stinker. Well, I'll tell you what. I was only going to teach for about another 15 minutes. So if you want to come back, and then at 6:45, I was going to take a break, and we were going to come back at 7 o'clock with our guest speaker. So I'll keep moving along, and then just maybe use your phone to tweet me if you have any questions. So let me get here. Okay, so. All right, so the first thing I wanted to talk about here, again, we're talking about analyzations, things going on. I wanted to say two things to you. First one is B2B, which means business to business, and B2C, which is business to consumers or / customers. All right. A large part of doing what we're doing is to get that reach out there, is to have good customer relations with whether it be another business, whether it be your consumer base, whether it be someone that's coming to an event, whether it be someone that's attracted to your nonprofit. So you really have to think about, who is your intended audience. In the book, he talks a little bit about, because it's a B2B digital marketing, he says that sometimes he thinks that social media and new media work better with business to business than they do business to consumers. Well, I've really seen it in both ends. I've seen B2B work very, very well with digital media, with new media. I've seen B2C work very, very well with digital media or new media. It just depends on your audience. Again, it depends on what you're talking about, how you're engaging your audience, then going from there. So I just kind of wanted to throw those two terms out. We've talked about them, but again, I just wanted to make sure you knew what was up with that. So let's talk about public relations and communications now then. So social media basically is digital public relations. It's digital communications. And it really doesn't matter who your audience is. The whole point of your social media is to build trust, to build engagement, which thus lead into leads, or lead into people that come to an event, or lead into people that donate to a cause, or whatever it might be that you're promoting. The whole point of that is to have good PR. Social media, new media is public relations, and a lot of people think, what, really? But think about it. Think about when you post on your personal page, on Facebook, on your Twitter, you're putting things out there about you, like I've asked you to do. You're putting things out there about, digital media communications, and in essence, you're branding yourself. So that is PR for yourself. That's public relations and branding, just for you, for yourself. You always have to take public relations, in my opinion, into consideration when you're thinking about doing your new media or your social media strategy. There are so many routes that you can take. There are so many different ways that you can use digital media, to reach out to the masses. So you have to do it the right way. Excuse me. Can you still hear me? Yeah? Okay, I wish I could hear you, but I keep checking. Have you tweeted me yet? Yes or no?
No.
No? Okay, cool. All right, right on. I'm a PR person through and through. And I tell people, I was old school PR. I really didn't want to go into the digital realm. But I found out that you really need, you just can't not include it anymore. Most businesses now are like, okay, yeah, we'll have a Facebook page, even your small business. Now, okay, we'll have a Twitter handle or something like that. But they don't really understand and grasp the correct way and the best way to use social and new media for their business. Let me see here. Oh, one unread message. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought that message was from you. That was from another student, Janet, with my other class. Okay, right on. So it's having a decent public relation and communications mind is important to me. You don't have to be the best at it, but you really need to consider that in your fact when you're making number one your social media marketing plan, and then number two when you're seeing, okay, who am I reaching out here? Is this B2B or is this B2C? Again, this is a really, really just quick and rough overview of it. I mean, I could spend hours and hours talking on this subject. So there you go. 6:37. Okay, so now, yes, you have to do your PR and your communications, and yes, you're doing your social media management stuff. You have all your handles working for you. You're being proactive, things like that. So, next part is you have to analyze and track that. I like to call the social media guys and just go in there, oh, okay, I can do this. Boom, 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 boom. They update. They do a picture this day, they do a video this day, but they never analyze what they're doing. Every single Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Instagram, even does it now. You name it, they do it. They give analytics, they give numbers back to you. Most of the platforms now understand that that's a needed part of doing new media, and they will have those. And again, I always say, I defer to Hootsuite, Sprout Social. I'm usually like adding up numbers on Pinterest. I download a little file and then I add up numbers. Same thing with Facebook. You go into Facebook, and if you go into a Facebook page that you're running, which is a like button page, there's a tab up at the top that says Insights, and you click on Insights, and it tells you everything from how your posts are doing to who's coming, when they're coming, what they're clicking on, and you can actually download an Excel file, a CSV file, and it really gives you information overload. I download this, for my own business at Mary Free Bed Rehab Hospital every month, and really with it gives you hundreds and hundreds of numbers, and I look at and really track 10 or less numbers. Engagement, reach, new likes. I like to look at what posts do the best, what type of posts do the best for the month. Usually those a lot of times end up being videos and pictures. Pictures, I'd say, on Facebook work very, very well for my type of demographic and who I'm reaching at through Mary Free Bed Rehabilitation Hospital. So you have to do the analytics. Like I said, the last chapter of the book, chapter 19, Qualifying Results, gives you just a very, very brief overview of analyzing comments. It talks about engagement, making engagement, analyzing sentiment, which I'm kind of on the bubble about. And then, but the one thing he said here, and I'll say this, is on page 320. I love this. I have this starred. Customer engagement is difficult to measure. It's qualitative, not quantitative, and rather subjective. And that is very, very true. It's not hard, fast numbers that a lot of people trust yet. Whereas on websites, you'll have your, here are my unique visitors, these are my hits, these are my top 10 pages. You have that type of stuff with social and social reach, but it's such a new type of business, it's such a new way of doing things, a new thought process that, a lot of people don't know if they're really true. A lot of people are like, oh, okay, well, what do those numbers really mean? Okay, so it's great that I engaged 20,000 people, but I engaged 20,000 people for the month on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter, something like that. but did those, the engagement of those 20,000 people, did that go back around in your circle and give you the results that you were looking for, whether it be a product, again, an event, trying to get the word out. So quantifying and using analytics and tracking is a must for any digital media professional that is out there today. So I highly suggest doing it. If you don't do it, then again, it's who we call the social media posers, and there are a lot of small businesses that do it like that. If you ever hire someone to do social media for you, they should be giving you a monthly report with your numbers, with some, with your most engaging posts, this and that. They should be very transparent about this is, here you are, this is what you're doing. And you should, want that. You should require them to give that to you. So websites, again, Google Analytics is the best. There are a million of them out there. They list like 15 of them in the book, but that's the only one I use is Google Analytics. Then, really for your social stuff, again, you can use a content management system, or you can go into the actual tools themselves within each one of the different platforms, and you can download pretty much now from every single one of them and get your numbers and create reports like that. So I'm going to kind of leave this here, Janet.
Okay.
You can still hear me, right?
I can hear you.
Okay, cool. All right, I see you shaking your head. All right, thumbs up. We're going to take a break, and we're going to come back at 7 o'clock. And again, every week we've had a special guest speaker, and this week we're going to be talking to Steve Neville of Intelligent Designs Media. So we're signing off, and I'll see you here around 7 o'clock, about 7:55 or 6:55, 6:57. I will send the new link back out. Thanks, Janet. See you in a bit.
Okay.
Bye.